Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going a little out of order tonight. We are actually appointing another police chaplain tonight, which is Resolution 169. Resolution appointing additional police chaplain Robin Coleman. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Excuse me, Kit Farrow?
Yes.
Ellis?
Yes.
Hodson?
Yes.
Pauls?
Yes.
And Fromer.
Yes. Reverend Coleman. There she is. There she is. Come on. Chief Spano? Do we have to swear Robin in for this? Do we swear her in? Okay. Yep. All right. We got it right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you should have it.
Yeah, I do.
Or shrimps.
Or, yes, well. Okay. You ready? Pastor, would you like to hold the Bible for, or would you like to take pictures?
I'll do both. I'll take care of it.
I figure you know this book well, so. Just right hand in the Bible, raise your left, and I'll give this to someone for a tape.
These fancy phones.
It's
Okay.
ready to go.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I state your name. I, Robert K. Coleman, do solemnly swear or affirm. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of police chaplain to the best of my ability. I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the government established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, so help me God.
So help me God.
For those of you that don't know, we have a very active chaplain program here, and I'm going to let the chief talk about it a little bit. And we are very grateful that you are joining our ranks, because what you offer to this town and to the men and women of our departments is truly a godsend. So thank you.
Good evening again. Thank you, Township Committee, number one, for appointing Chaplain Clark today. Coleman, my apologies. And number two is, thank you for moving her to the front, and hopefully good things come because we moved the chaplains. But Mayor, just to echo what you said, so back, Chief Simon is the one that implemented the chaplain program with our agency, and at the time, change for a police department sometimes comes with angst and challenges and nervousness, but I will say the chaplains, having them as part of our department is a godsend. And what I'll say is, so for those that don't know, a chaplain is an honorary captain with our agency. So that comes with a lot of responsibility, and that responsibility being we, the police department, our employees, and also the citizens who place a lot of trust in our chaplains, because the chaplains are called, we'd like to think that they're called for the good things and the good times, but unfortunately that's not the case in police work. So our chaplains come out for not only the civilians or our citizens during crisis, but they're also here for our employees to help with our emotional well-being, our spirit, and our resiliency. So, and it's like I had said last time with the chaplain we had sworn in before, they're always here for us, and I just think that I would just ask that everyone keep them in their hearts and prayers because, for everything that they're doing for our agency and our community, they need strength. And for that, I again ask that you keep them in your hearts and prayers. And we're looking forward to you joining our ranks and looking forward to seeing your face in our building and out at the calls. I'm sure our officers are. And so congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Reverend Coleman, thank you again. Okay. Next thing we have on board is probably one of our favorite things to do is to give a presentation. Is the family of John McCorkle here? Well, they might not be here, but those of you involved in that event are here. So we have a certificate of appreciation being presented, how should I put these on? With gratitude to members of our dispatch staff, our police department, and our EMTs. Mr. Cafaro is going to read the proclamation.
Sure. It's a brief synopsis, folks, of the events of that day, and bear with me and thank you. Whereas on the afternoon of January 14, 2024, family members of John McCorkle, a township resident, called 911 to report an unconscious person. And whereas communications officers Gabrielle Justitino recognized immediately that Mr. McCorkle needed CPR. Without hesitation, Gabrielle began providing the caller with CPR instructions while remaining calm and professional, and kept the caller focused on providing CPR to Mr. McCorkle until the first EMS units arrived. Communications officers Amanda Taylor and Bernadette Cahill Goldstein simultaneously dispatched EHT EMSs and Atlanticare. Whereas upon arrival, the Egg Harbor Township crew encountered K-9 Officer Christopher Barry and Officer Thomas Rosati, along with family members performing CPR on Mr. McCorkle. Supervisors Virgin Castro and Pamela Shields, along with the EMTs David Austin and Joel Martin, took over CPR and continued with compressions and ventilations. And whereas Mr. McCorkle was placed on a mechanical compression device called Lucas, and after several minutes and subsequent shocks, the team was able to detect the pulse. And Mr. McCorkle spontaneously began breathing on his own. Whereas Atlanticare paramedics arrived on location, and patient care was then subsequently transferred and assisted with keeping the patient alive and transported to the hospital. And whereas Mr. McCorkle underwent immediate cardiac intervention and spent a total of 7 days in the hospital and was able to walk out of his own power. Whereas every single person involved in this incident contributed, to the patient surviving. Every second matters in cases such as this for the best outcome of a patient. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and township committee of the Township of Egg Harbor, the County of Atlantic, the state of New Jersey, hereby commend and express our warm appreciations and sincere gratitude for your unmatched and honorable professionalism. Thank you, one and all, and I'm sure that family is grateful, very appreciative.
Would you stand? And Cochran? I'm going to call the names, and I'm going to let Chris Brunig and the chief have a few words. Okay. Virgin Castro? David Austin? Phil Martin? Pam Shields. Chris Berry. Bernadette Cahill. Gabby. I've been here a lot. Thank you. Tom Brazat. Amanda Taylor. And that was for the rest of the squad. Chief Rennie, would you like to say a few words?
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. It's a special occasion that we don't get to do too often, is to recognize our experiences in the field. This is a particular situation where we're all taught certain aspects of our job, and when all the components come together and they mesh into a very successful outcome where a patient is able to walk out of the hospital in their own power. Our telecommunicators, Gabby, who took the phone call, it's a very impressive phone call, 6 minutes long. She was able to keep the people, Jackie Pachenko, who's the daughter, and her significant other, calm and to recognize that CPR was needed, and she instructed them for several minutes on how to give ventilations and give compressions to her dying father. And at that point, the police officers arrived and they took over, and then our EMTs and our personnel came in as the third step, and they took over and were able to continue CPR. At that point, loading her father onto the stretcher, they detected a pulse. He actually started breathing on his own at that point, and then we work in conjunction a lot with the Medicare paramedics. Their leadership team is here, and I'd also like to recognize the team that was there, Kevin Williams and Kate Bell, who are sitting back here also. With their expertise and they're able to administer life-saving medications at that point in order to keep him alive, along with our efforts to assist him too. And he was transported to the hospital with a very, very successful outcome. I spoke with Jackie personally last week. She was excited about coming. I'm surprised she's not here. I did get an email saying she wasn't going to be here. Hopefully she's okay. And her father is reported to be alive and healthier than he has been in many, many years. He moved to Georgia and he's living his best life in Georgia. So it was a great outcome. It was a great success story. And it's great when everything comes together. And Gabby, you started it. You did a good job.
You know, it shows it does take a village, as they say. That there's a lot of people involved in one call, but you made a difference in somebody's life, which is amazing. So, on behalf of all of us, thank you so very much, because the job you do is difficult on the best day. So, thank you, all of you, for what you do, very much.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I get excited when I go to Wawa and I see a EMT truck because I didn't think they got a break. So they'll get a cup of coffee and have to run. Great job, great job.
And where's the chief? We've got one more. We've got 2 police officers, an MPO 1 and 2, that we're going to recognize. Who's chief?
He's over here, man.
Right there?
That's what we call.
Chief, we're going to turn it to you.
Again, thank you, Township Committee, and so today's, or this evening's presentation is something that we've been meaning to do for quite some time now. In the past, Master Police Officer or Master Police Officer 2, those are positions, or it's not necessarily a rank, but it's a additional level of responsibility that an employee or a police officer takes on based on benchmarks that they meet internally. And in the past, when someone obtained MPO status, we pretty much would present it to them in briefings, patrol briefings, and the idea was broached with the MPO coordinator, Sergeant London, and myself and some others to try to recognize them in more formal fashion. So like we do with promotions, where promotions are more, a resolution. I know this isn't a resolution, but it certainly deserves recognition. So at this time, I'd like to call up Heidi Wallerman. I was going to call them all at the same time, but we'll go over it. Just hang on here. All right. Cody Ng. First, Kevin Brady. And Jimmy McPherson. All right. So I present to you a few in our organization, the few who took the time and effort, which is so notable, because this is strictly volunteer on their part. They didn't take a test. They didn't. They're not jockeying and competing against others to obtain an assignment in this regard. This is what I believe is very important. It's professional development. It's intrinsic. It's their desire to better the organization, better themselves. And so with that, obviously, Heidi, Cody, and Kevin will be assigned MPO 1 status, and Officer McPherson, or Jimmy Mack, as I like to call him, will be Master Police Officer 2 status. So the fact that they applied for this says a lot, in my opinion, and our command staff's opinion, says a lot about their character and their commitment, again, to echo what I just previously said, as far as bettering our agency. So, again, for those, this doesn't come with extra money. This is all self-sacrifice. The fact that they chose to take on a little bit more responsibility, and what that does, and what that means is they're designated as people on their squads who will serve as mentors and role models. And with that comes, again, a lot of responsibility. I said before, our police department, we're trying to embed in our culture doing the little things right, attention to detail and high quality of work, and always working to improve the law enforcement image. And I will say, without a doubt, four that are standing before you certainly represent what we're trying to accomplish in that regard. So I would like to again present our MPO 1s, Officer Wallerman, Ng, and Brady, and MPO 2, Officer McPherson. Congratulations. welcome aboard.
Excuse me, Chief,
Okay.
could you ask the business administrator, can we get jackets like this on 5 of us? And can we get those jackets?
Well, ITs, I mean, I love the traditional look.
Oh, yeah.
If it was up to me, we'd be wearing them all the time, but I know it's impractical in today's work environment. But Township Committee, again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to present them on behalf. I do without, this program doesn't really happen without our coordinator and Sergeant Jody London. He's in the room.
He is in the back. Straight back.
So recognition for Sergeant London for basically being the facilitator to get this program kind of jump-started in a way within our organization. So again, thanks to Jody for that as well. So
Picture with her. A picture. Yeah. She reads? Yeah, she reads.
You can see why we're so proud of our agency. The men and women of this department go above and beyond every day. We're very proud of them.
Chief, I just want to say one quick thing. You've been at it about a year now, roughly?
just under a year.
Just under a year. Doing an outstanding job, you and your team. You're doing an outstanding job. And I just want to recognize
We're
that.
trying. I mean, it's a team effort.
I know.
And just every day is a new day, and we're trying to make the department better, not just the police department, the entire agency. And for the community, obviously. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
What you doing?
See ya.
Not done, Chris. You're good.
You're
Don't
fine,
worry.
you're fine.
Now, I can't fly. Go that way.
There you go. Thank you. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Oh, we gotta talk to her there.
Extra prayers. We're going to move on now to ordinance public hearings. We do not have one, but we do have an ordinance introduction, Mr. Friedman.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 8 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 87 entitled Cannabis of the Code of Township of Egg Harbor regarding the taxation, licensing provisions, resolutions of local support, and other provisions permitted by law, including the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act. The purpose of this ordinance is to amend the existing licensing provisions regarding taxation of cannabis businesses, compliance mechanisms, issuance of support letters and licenses, and to add prohibitions and a requirement for a community, host community agreement. A public hearing on Ordinance 8 will be held on April 24th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. And if I may say, Mayor, to just insert here that this is the result of efforts made by my office as well as the special attorney that we had hired to take a look at our ordinances. These are some of this is a collaborative effort between myself and him to tighten up the ordinance to make sure that the township is in fact getting the taxation that we're entitled to get. He will be working with us to implement that, to make sure that we discover, obtain the materials that we need so that the CFO can in fact impose the proper taxation and collect all the taxes to which the township's entitled. There's also provisions to specify a little bit more, is to put an expiration date on resolutions of support that we give out, so that after a period of time, if they're not acted upon, they would end up getting rescinded after I think it was 18 months is what we're talking about here. There's also a provision in here about increasing the amount of Class 5 licenses. Those are retail licenses. The ordinance itself is written right now for us to add it from 4 licenses to 7 licenses. However, we've been able to, excuse the pun, weed one of the applicants out. And so I believe that an ordinance amendment, if the Township Committee chooses to go in that direction, would be that we'd only increase it to 6 retail distribution licenses instead of 7. That's something that the Township, if they're considering amending it, this is the time to do it. The other way of doing it is obviously if we pass it as is, we'd have one in our pocket still to disseminate to one of the future applicants.
Right, and the reason we increased it by 2 or 3, from 4 to 7, now 4 to 6, if the committee is in agreement, is because they were already in the process.
That's correct. These are businesses that I've asked them to, I know what their status is, but these applicants had come forward and said, listen, we're acting with due diligence, but we're just not going to get to the goal line as fast as some others. They've been at it for close to a year and a half. Some of them expended a lot of money to set up shop and do business.
So there's nothing else in the pipeline past the 6?
That's correct.
I'm fine with the 6. I would amend it to
So
6.
but the one that's outstanding, the one in question here,
Yes.
they're still in the process.
You talk about the one that I'm saying to eliminate?
Yes.
Yeah, what happened was there was a bit of confusion upstairs in the terms, in the matrix that they prepared, in that that applicant, they put in their application under one name, and then somewhere through the process, they had put in an amendment and changed their name, and yet it showed up with the office upstairs to process it as 2 separate ones, but one was moving and one wasn't, and then I noticed
All right, so
that.
we didn't need, okay, so it's not like somebody's not gonna have the opportunity that's already committed funds.
That's correct.
Okay, it's just a duplication of names.
It is a duplication of
Okay,
names.
well, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So if we're amending the 6, you're in
If
favor?
we're all,
I'm in
yeah.
favor of it.
And what my concern that I've expressed both in writing and here again now is that those other applicants that had in fact put in and the time and gone up to the state and got their licensing and now ready to move forward with their land use approvals, I don't expect that they're going to, well, no, I shouldn't put it that way. The possibility exists that they will take action, legal action against the township in trying to compel them to be licensed. So we're trying to avoid that situation. That's why this proposal's on the table.
And the way this legislation went originally is we can change as we move it through this business cycle, whatever happens here.
That's correct.
So,
There's nothing to prohibit us from amending our ordinance.
okay.
Currently, either as existing, which we're going to pass or we amend, in essence, 6 and 7 is the same person.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Right. So
Yeah,
That's
we
correct.
didn't want to, some of us didn't want to go that high initially.
The end result for the township is that you'd have potentially 2, not potentially, likely 2 additional retail distribution licenses in the appropriate locations.
right. And we can still pass something down the road if we have someone else that comes in.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to add additional.
If we want to, that's what I'm saying. If we
Yeah.
leave it at
You
6,
could add, but you can't subtract.
correct. Correct. So this is, I think, I don't have a problem with making it 6.
I'll make a motion to amend this existing introduction to 6.
Second.
Can we roll call on that?
Yes. Cafaro?
Yes.
Ellis?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Pauls?
Yes.
And Brummer.
Yes. Okay, so that is gonna be as amended to 6. And that's on the introduction, so when we actually vote on it,
Yeah, you have to move, I believe at this point you still have to, was that motion just to amend the
Right.
That was to amend.
introduction? Do you have to go through another roll call now to introduce it?
I'll make a motion, Mayor,
Do we?
for introduction.
But the question, Mark, what stops somebody from coming down the road and saying, you amended it once, can you amend it again for other licenses? That's my problem. I've almost voted no because we struggled over the 4 in the beginning.
Mhm.
Okay, now we're making more.
We've instructed them upstairs to not hand out any more applications
Okay.
and to tell prospective
Okay,
applicants
this
we're
is
not
covered
accepting
who's in
any.
the pipeline,
Correct.
but it may open the floodgate. We're a big township.
But that's why we passed
That's
it.
at your discretion.
Yes.
That'll be
Yeah,
at
I
your
just don't want to
discretion.
be coming back every month to open it more
Oh, no.
licenses.
The door's shut.
No,
Okay.
we-
So you wanna
I don't-
open it.
I-
So it looks
I
like
wouldn't
that's
do
what
that.
we're doing.
I don't,
Okay.
makes it.
All right, so we have a motion
I
to
make a motion
Introduce it.
introduction of ordinance 8
As
as amended.
amended. Can I have a second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Bellis,
Yes.
Hodson,
Yes.
Pauls,
Yes.
and Sherman.
Yes. All right, general public discussion. Is there anyone here that would like to address the governing? Can you come up to the mic, please, and name and address for the record?
Yes. Good evening. My
And you
name
can
is.
put,
Yeah.
yeah.
Taking. My name is Jean Marie Drew. I reside at 11 Lenwood Court here in EHT. I would like to comment on Resolution 181. I moved my family here last year, so I'm a newer EHT resident. And at the invitation of a friend, I attended for the first time a Defend Brigantine Beach meeting 2 weeks ago. There were residents there from Brigantine, Atlantic City, Ventnor, Margate, and Longport. But there were no offshore residents in attendance. I was the only one. And this was the first time that I had heard about substations. Since that night, I've been reading and asking questions. The friends, coworkers, and family that I've spoken with are just as ignorant as I am. I attended last Monday's EHT Planning Board meeting because I had the time and I wanted to familiarize myself with the proceedings of my new local government. From that meeting, it was obvious to me that the members of the Planning Board understand that the taxpayers are busy, working people and families. I appreciated that. If I had not downloaded the agenda for tonight's committee meeting, I would not have known about the consideration of a funding agreement between EHT and All Shores Offshore Wind. I'm now aware that the redevelopment law referenced in the funding agreement refers to urban development and housing. I'm concerned that landlords and property owners will be lost and that Atlantic Shores will receive tax breaks. My concern in this area, aside from the environmental problems that it poses, is that the EHT taxpayers will have to absorb the loss of the tax revenue, thereby increasing our taxes because of this. There's much more to address. I'm not asking for answers tonight because I honestly am overwhelmed by what I'm learning. What I am asking tonight is that this committee consider tabling this funding agreement until perhaps next month's meeting and offer the residents an informational forum. I understand that I'm new and that this may have already happened, but in the last 2 weeks, I haven't been able to connect with anyone in my neighborhood or among my friends in this area that are aware of the little bit of information that I've found. If there's someone here in the township with whom I can connect and volunteer my time and my resources, I'd be happy to make this happen. I would also ask that you consider tonight offering a brief explanation about Resolution 181. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mark, do you want to take that?
Yes.
That's it, okay.
Yes.
No, you don't have to.
I don't know how this works.
You can sit down, unless you've got some follow-up questions after what he says.
I might have a follow-up. Actually, these ladies and this gentleman are people that were at the Defend Brigantine Beach meeting. I'm here as a taxpayer, as a resident, as somebody who's trying to volunteer my time and effort so that people around me will understand better and I will learn more from where EHT intersected with All Shores and why my new home here was chosen as a site for the substation. I get the land, but I also get that we're part of the Pine Barrens. So I just want information. And I believe that the people here this evening would like to offer you, the committee, information that may be beneficial to the taxpayers.
All right, why don't you
Mayor, I
listen
suggest
to-
it might be beneficial then if there are other people that want to speak on the same subject matter to come up, so this way we could address
Do it at
them
one
all at
time.
once.
Feel better verse
One
rate
speaker
coming
for the
up.
three.
Thank you. And can I say one more thing?
That's not how this works.
With regard to the police department, when I told friends that we were considering the EHT, in an unsolicited move, friends of mine who are police officers from Margate to Little Egg Harbor Township immediately said, you guys have a great police department.
Well, that's
We'll
nice
make
to
sure they
hear.
know that, 'cause we do. Thank you. Hello, sir. Can we have your name and address for the record?
Jonah Smith. I'm in 5200 Boardwalk in Ventnor. When I found out about this resolution, which I just found out today, I'm an avid and active opponent of offshore wind in any form, because I could go on and on, I only have 3 minutes. But the bottom line is, all it's going to do is increase costs to taxpayers, to residents, it's going to ruin the economy, it's going to wreck the ecology of the ocean. By acknowledgement of the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, it's not going to do a thing for the climate or for the environment. Okay? It's just going to be a big boondoggle that's going to end up costing everybody a lot of money. So to give Atlantic Shores, which is desperately trying to find footholds wherever they can, a place here is wrong. It's just helping them out. They're facing a lot of lawsuits. Several Defend Brigantine Beach has filed lawsuits. Cape May County, Atlantic County is considering filing its own lawsuit as well. There's a petition out there with over 600,000 signatures calling for a halt to any offshore wind projects. I implore any township that's considering giving square footage, land, opportunity to start plunking down monstrosities which may end up being abandoned, which you're going to have to end up handling afterwards, which has to be considered as well. Give them no quarter. It's wrong, and if you're unsure about that, as Jean Marie mentioned, there's a great deal of literature which my friend Eileen can hand out to you to give you just a few reading tips that a lot of people don't really know about. And it's not just an advocate. I'm a retired chemical engineer. I was never an advocate for anything, except when I see something that's so totally wrong. It's like when you know your friend is driving a car into a brick wall, it's your obligation to stop it. This must be stopped. Many of the mayors up and down the coast are indeed realizing that now and attempting to stop it. I want the township to be aware as well.
Thank you. And thank you for this. We'll read it. Mark, did you get one, Mark?
No.
Do you have one extra by chance? You know what? I'll give you mine and I'll get a copy.
No, thank you.
Yes, Mom.
My name's Sherry Lilienfeld, and I live at 7809 Wellington Avenue, Margate. To follow up, like what Jean Marie said, really encourage you to do a little research before you just willingly say yes. I happened to talk to some of the officials in Ocean City. So what their strategy is, these Atlantic Shores, they come and they offer a lot of money, and it sounds very attractive. And you're like, yeah, oh wow, this is great, we're gonna take this money, it's gonna help our budget. But they're really like buying you to be quiet and like kind of accept what they're saying. And I know you don't wanna get labeled to be bought out for the money. When I talked to these Ocean City officials, they're like, they came to us, they wanted to give us $10 million, $2 million every year for 5 years. And before they accepted it, one of them had the foresight to do his research. And he said, once I started researching it, I had so many questions, and we just said no. Like Jonah, I'm also a chemical engineer, and I work in the environmental space, and there are lots and lots of alternatives, and this offers nothing. It is not going to help us. The other thing I want you to consider, a couple of things, is it will bring the tax basis up because these offshore wind projects are gonna cost everyone in Atlantic County money, and there's a lot of money going towards them, but they're also not safe. These cables, have you looked into where they're running these cables? They are EMF, they are high voltage cables. They're gonna be run underground by homes. Like, you really should check out their path. Like, if you're looking at a new location, you know, where are these cables running? They are very, 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 very dangerous. You would not wanna have your house by a high voltage line. They're gonna be underground, hidden by homes, by schools, by parks. So I just really am encouraging you to do what Jean Marie said, do some research first, really get your facts down, talk to other municipalities, you know, when they did their research, why, you know, they did not accept their money. There was a lot of municipalities that did, and it's just not good. It's just not good. And you have two chemical engineers here who, I have to tell you, people would come to me and say, what do you think about offshore wind? And I'm like, well, gosh, I want to help the environment. I don't know. And once you start reading, it gets worse and worse and worse, and you get angrier and angrier. Because their environmental impact statement clearly says they don't have the data, they don't know, this is new frontier. Like, they don't know anything. They clearly say it in their environmental impact statement. They don't know anything about how these thousands of them, yeah, they have them in Europe, they have a few up the hills along the highways. They don't even know these things could withstand hurricanes. But in terms of EHT, you're gonna have the substations, and you're gonna have the wires, you're gonna rip up your roads, and they're gonna go through your neighborhoods. You really need to think about this. That's all I wanna say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Eileen Barker. I live in Atlantic City, 101 South Plaza Place. I'm also a real estate salesperson broker at Keller Williams. For 25 years, I've sold property in Egg Harbor Township, and I've gotten involved with fighting the wind turbine, the ocean wind turbines, a few years ago because my background is I have a degree in environmental planning, and the substation that Atlantic Shores is asking to build on Fire Road is needed in order for the whole project to work. Because if there's no place to send the cables, then there's no reason to build these stations, turbines. And I don't know how much you are aware, but the plans were just changed. Atlantic Shores has changed their plans now that there will be 106 wind turbines going from Atlantic City to Ocean City. And they will be, now they're saying 6.5 miles offshore. Before it was supposed to be 18 miles. And that alone is going to affect now the National Marine Association is against it. They're lobbying right now in Washington D.C. because it is going to affect the commercial fishing industry and the recreational fishing. I spoke to the fisherman, Robert's fishing, the fish club. He said it will increase the price of fish because they're not going to be able to fish near the wind turbines, which means we local people will have to get their fish from the commercial fishermen that are far away. That's one of the big lawsuits is by the Cape May fishermen. And so that's what, and then also it's going to hurt the recreational boating industry tremendously. It will also, it'll affect the tourism industry, like we're not going to be able to have the air show in Atlantic City because even the Army Corps of Engineers, no, it's the Coast Guard, has already said that it's dangerous to have the turbines. The turbines will be the height of 1,000 feet high, which is the same thing as the highest casino right now.
It's 300 feet higher than Ocean Casino.
Yeah.
Ocean
It is
Casino
now.
is
It compares to
710 feet high. These are going to be 1,049 feet high, 300 feet higher than Ocean Casino.
That's 100 stories.
What?
It's 100 stories.
Yes, thank you.
The
price of
Atlantic City turbines that you see, the 5 that are out right now, those are approximately 300 feet high. These are gonna be.
The ones you can see, right?
And there's gonna be thousands.
Well, definitely
Okay.
106.
Yeah.
But, could you explain about how the oil, how they use it? Because they're gonna have to drill the
That's
new.
too involved.
As far as Egg Harbor Township is concerned, just one.
Well,
So, and also, I am personally, and I'm not throughout our group, we're definitely for increasing, going towards zero carbon goals. But we have all the studies, and some of them saying in the back there, that if you combine solar energy with conserving, with nuclear, and also conserve, there's a very strong push that we could change the building code so that the houses would be built so that less energy is wasted. I spoke to one of these specialists, and they said that it will.
There's a lot of things I know that can be done to conserve energy. I think that's a different discussion.
Right.
I know what you're here to talk about tonight. I'm going to turn it over to the solicitor so he can
Thank you.
explain ordinance 181,
Yes,
or
thank you.
resolution, I'm sorry.
Certainly, this has been a controversial issue that has taken on a life of its own, both on the state level and the federal level, and it's not really within the purview of this governing body on a local level to understand all the positives and negatives of this type of new industry. Recognizing that, the township, I guess, for so far has taken the tactic that we're not involved in the political fray. You might agree with that, you might disagree with it, but that's the tactic that we've taken. And essentially, we've asserted those positions because the law provides that if we don't cooperate and we object to the plans that are being made by Atlantic Shores, that they can basically just do an end around and go to state commission and basically get the approvals, just like they did in Ocean City, although that company pulled out for other reasons, presumably. So we are taking, I guess, a different approach than maybe some of the frontline shore communities that have a direct impact in seeing, visually in seeing this. Granted, the infrastructure is ultimately coming offshore, it should be coming onshore through Atlantic City, through Egg Harbor Township, and then to Atlantic City Electric Power Plant. So what 181 basically is seeking for, what we've been requested, is to conduct a study, an investigation by the planning board. It's an exploratory investigation as to what this project is all about and what they intend upon doing. So there's going to be a hearing if this resolution passes. It's going to get sent to the planning board. The planning board will then conduct a hearing. There'll be reports that will be prepared by township engineer as to whether or not this area is in need of redevelopment and ultimately accommodating whatever substation they want to put at this location. So there's not much that this committee at this juncture is able to do or to offer by way of advice to allay your concerns and your fears, but it is a step in the process that if you want to be heard and you want to learn more about it, then should this resolution pass, there'll be dates that'll be published as to when it's going to be heard by the planning board, and it's really the beginning of the process. And that's a place where you could also go, hear what is being presented, and make your comments as well, and those will be taken into consideration. Once they go to the planning board and they conduct these hearings, the planning board makes a recommendation. They make a recommendation, they send it back to the township committee, either recommending that the redevelopment be granted or that the redevelopment be rejected. This governing body then has the option to then take that recommendation and act upon that. It's the first step, but it is a step in the process. So for those who are opponents, and I could probably easily say you're the first opponents that have appeared in front of this governing body, voicing some opposition to it. We know that our state senator is against it, and that is something that it's almost like it's a project that's bigger than Egg Harbor Township and what we're able to do at this level. So that is the best that I think that I could answer your comments.
I have a question. So it's up to the planning board to look into, like, for example, let's say you have the substation at this location. Are they also going to be reviewing where those cables are running? And, you know, are they through homes? Are they, I'm sorry, through residential neighborhoods? Are they under parks? Like I'm wondering, because like that is a very big consideration, and I can tell you everything Atlantic Shores does. If you read their reports, we don't have the data, we need to find more. Let's just build this and see how it works and what we're gonna do. Like, I feel like there's so much important stuff that is overlooked. And so I'm assuming at the planning board, that's when we could raise those concerns about your people in Egg Harbor Township, you know, that are gonna be impacted.
Well, we're probably earlier in the process than those subject matters as far as what the planning board is going to handle. The planning board's just looking at that particular site. They're not looking at the overall project. They're looking at that particular site as to whether or not it should be an area that's designated in need of redevelopment.
Gotcha.
Okay. As far as the route that it's going to take, those are things that are eventually going to be decided upon at the planning board level, because they have to get site plan approval for what they're going to do and what they're going to build. But for those who are opponents of this and vocal opponents, I'm not really sure if this is the body that's going to be the one that's going to put the brakes on the project as much as higher authorities.
I just feel like, you know, to properly protect the people of EHT, these need to be considered, because they are, it's sort of like when you have your home and there's a company dumping contaminants in the water, and like, and nobody knows and no one's protecting the people. Like, this is the same kind of thing. You're going to have a substation, you're going to have high voltage wires that are coming through EHT. So like, what body is going to oversee that other than Atlantic Shores, who only cares about finishing their
I would think the
project?
BPU is.
I think it has to do with control over the project.
Yeah.
The perspective of, what comes down from the feds to the state, the governor, and what lands at our desk,
Yeah.
and what we have to do. If we give up control of it and we don't make the decisions as
Yeah.
far as the route, somebody else will, a higher authority, and then we lose control over what's going to happen. So I'm not saying it's a fait accompli as far as what ultimately whether these projects are going to be built or not, but this body has no power to stop that from happening. We might be able to put roadblocks in the way if that's what the inclination is, but that has not been a subject matter that we've really had to address.
You guys, as the commissioners and the solicitor, you really should think about these things and whether you're going to have a say maybe in the project and protecting people.
Well, I'm going to suggest that what you do
Yeah.
is tonight, this actually, what we're doing
Okay.
tonight doesn't affect
Okay.
so much of what you're talking about.
Okay.
But this will be listed on the planning board agenda.
Okay.
And it's Jean Marie, right? You can check online or call upstairs to our planning and zoning office, and they will tell you when it's going to be heard. And there's public comment at a planning board meeting. Come there and speak. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's
Okay.
probably
the best.
the best
part.
thing you can do.
I mean, like, what we're trying to do is just create awareness that this thing is coming, like you said, it's on the federal level, and things are happening, and a lot of things happen behind closed doors. And by the way, there's a lawsuit to you because of some of the stuff they did. And we just feel like it's happening with very little consideration to how it's going to affect people. Because people in Atlantic County, their utility rates are going up, I'm talking the county, and their taxes are going up, because we are paying for this. We are paying. So that's all. We just want to.
I'll leave you with this. If you think that there are materials that need, information that needs to be brought, to the attention of whether it's the planning board, this governing
Okay.
body, you're certainly welcome to do that.
Well, that's something, so thank you. Yes, again, just trying to make people aware and do your research and be vocal about it. Protect
That's what you're
people.
doing, so that's great.
Yes,
But thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like, just 1 minute?
One, less than a minute, just because I really appreciate what you guys do. Just so I understand, the way it works is that someone comes with a proposal to develop land or whatever. They can propose anything. They can say, we want to build a roller derby rink here. You don't have the power to say anything about that except go through the process, but then it can be stopped later at the planning commission is what you're saying. But this board has, this body has to let anybody who
Well,
wants to make a proposal go ahead and
business,
do
there's
it.
normal ways to handle business as it comes into the town, and there's procedures that are already put in place. So if a developer would like to come in and do something, the Atlantic Shores, you're talking about a redevelopment plan, which is completely different than a standard development. If, Amazon wants to come in and build a superstore or super warehouse here.
You can't
there's a-
stop it at this stage is what you're saying.
Not here, it goes to the planning
Well-
board and they vet it at the planning board. That's the vetting
That's the
agency.
place.
That's the vetting
Focus
agency.
And the
We
property
have,
is
we
zoned to
have,
do it too.
we have zoning laws, we have zoning areas. This is residential, that's business, stuff like that. So they just
That's
can't come
different
in.
than this.
Right, they just can't come in and, they have to adhere to what's, all of the ordinances are on.
This is just the beginning, the planning commission, the planning hearings. is
So what's the resolution for? The resolution is to take money and
It's-
use your employees to help with the redevelopment? Like, what is that
Like a study.
resolution for?
It's a study
It's commissioning a study.
Okay,
that they have to pay for.
okay.
And
Okay.
it does say that they have no obligation to support it.
I appreciate you coming in because a lot of us have mixed emotions about what they want to do. It's changing all the time. Now to hear that it's 6 miles offshore, we'll see them from the beach as much as we see Atlantic or Ocean Club from Margate Beach. So the other thing too, I wanted to, and your engineers, I'm far from it. I played it in the Army, but the fact of the matter is, I want to see those towers hold up in a northeaster or a hurricane. Okay, because I've been in the ocean when there's been a hurricane, and nobody, including the Navy, can tell you what it's going to do to a fixed object that they think is going to be hold up on the base of the ocean and not go over. So I appreciate it, and this is just for us to study a piece of property, right?
That's what it
That the
is.
planning board had to look at, and look, some of them have already pulled out. We know it's going to cost.
And that's what I'm going to-
We'll be at that planning board.
There you go. There. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to address the governing body on any other matters? Rick, come on up, Rick. Name and address for the record.
Got lousy hearing and lousy legs. Ray Orbach, Douglas Milton. I'm down here enough already so you guys basically know what's going on. Excuse me, I have several things from people that wrote online. One fellow had suggested a sign where Ocean Heights runs out and it's Summers Point Mays Landing Road. So you've got that point there and people are coming down there to our area. His statement was, I think a sign just before the turn onto Ocean Heights Landing would be helpful. It should notify people that a bridge is closed 5 miles down and could mention Ocean Heights Avenue is the quickest way to Summers Point and the shore routes. So that would get the majority of the people heading down that way. I talked to the county this afternoon and I mentioned that the sign on Summers Point Mays Landing Road and Zion Road, they have one, further down on Summers Point Mays Landing Road, they have a sign where Zion Road intersects it. Instead of it being a sign that you can read, it's about this big.
Yeah, the signage is terrible.
It's terrible.
Right? I told you. You need to go to
I'm
the
going,
commissioner.
I'm going.
Because you're just talking to the engineer. The commissioners are like us. They will speak on behalf of the constituents, which is you.
Yeah, we're
On a
going.
county project.
We're going.
You have to go there.
I met with 6 of the engineers,
No, I want you to meet with 6 of the
and
commissioners.
the engineers and the one commissioner.
That's who I want you to meet with.
Which commissioner?
I was with the administrator.
That's not a
Who, Jerry
commissioner.
DeRosa?
With Jerry.
He's, yeah. He was taking notes all over the place. they couldn't answer a lot of the questions, the engineers, but the engineers are the ones that are gonna tell the commissioners, what's going on, right?
Yes and no. Here's the thing that we all do here. Every one of us has different citizens talk to us.
Right.
Maybe our public works department is doing something that a neighborhood doesn't like. Well, we can talk to our engineer who will give us an answer, right? But when the public comes to us, we answer to the public. This is a county project.
Right.
Those commissioners, you need to get them vested in what's going on Bevis Mill Road.
Okay.
You really, truly do. Because they're the ones, like Paul had brought up, that can put pressure on the timetable, and make sure they're getting out and doing the inspections. They're gonna do that. That's like what our job is. If we'll call and the trash isn't picked up, we'll call Public Works, and we'll do that. But your job, or their job, the commissioner's job, is to represent you to the people that work for the county.
Right.
They're elected officials.
Yeah.
They need to listen to you. You need to go there.
Right,
And talk to
We're going
them,
next time.
not the engineer.
I used to be a freeholder,
Okay.
and I would want to be told about what's going on here. So the mayor is 100% right. You got to go to the freeholder board, or the commissioners.
Okay.
And there's three commissioners that live in
four
this
of them.
township on that board. Three.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Parker, Mr. Risley, Mr. Ballas.
Okay.
They live here. They
Right.
should be seeing it and hearing it like you are and I am.
Okay. Thank you. There's some things local for you guys. Our roads. One of the neighbors' campground I brought up on Friday meeting. We got together with the county then, and he said there's going to be approximately 600 more cars from the campgrounds going up Summers Point, Mays Landing Road that are going to be dumping in on us.
Well, it's just summer traffic coming.
Very short. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's daily.
Campground opens up April 1st.
Right, and he said, but that's daily. It's not like they're coming down for a weekend, in and out, in and out, in and out. So we're gonna have a heck of a lot of traffic coming through. He suggested cut off Bevis Mill Road right there. He said, heck with it. You can't let them come through. Again, you got the safety factor. Everybody talks about the safety factor. Nobody's talking about the safety of the kids on the streets, but
Well, I know you've been talking to Sergeant Stern. Sergeant Stern? Ed Stern?
I tried talking to Stern, but when I went to call him up, he didn't change his message because he was going out of town for a few days and he had a meeting, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, disconnected me every time.
Call the chief.
So, again,
Tom, do we have any update on any of this?
We spoke before the meeting, and I know they're looking at having the delineators installed on the road to start, so
Right.
that should be coming shortly.
and that's, okay, you said it should be coming shortly, the delineators. Supposedly the county approved them. Are they here? They're not here?
I know we were supposed to pick them up, I believe, last week. And then
Okay.
it's a matter of Public Works getting the time to install them.
All right,
So I'll follow up with that tomorrow
I appreciate it.
with Public Works Director.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing was kind of weird, but on Tuesday, I guess it was? Yesterday, yeah, there was work being done at the intersection of Robert Best and Stillmanville. You got that point in the road. So they had blocked it off for traffic coming up because they were working there. Traffic could come down Robert Best and go out, but they couldn't go up. What a difference the traffic was. It was amazing.
Oh, I know.
Because when they came up, the people went to the right, and then they see, boom, here's the detour, off to my right, easily seen. Who's responsible to put a sign right there at the intersection of two roads, point the people away, stop the traffic from going up onto our road?
The county.
No, on Bevis Mill, on Robert Best, that's not county, that's us.
That's a road, when we do a road project, we're responsible for the
Right,
signage.
can you block it off one way? And why not?
It would have to be done for a reason.
Pardon?
It would have to be done for a legitimate reason. The Robert Best is a highly traveled road. So to close Robert Best one way would be very difficult, and what it would do with the traffic going to the other streets. I mean, listen.
It would drive the traffic up onto Stillmanville.
Yeah, it
I'm
would
not
for some of it.
I'm not saying block it coming out, because people come down it, they just can't go up onto Robert Best. They're coming from Stillmanville.
Excuse me a minute, Ray.
Sure.
When Captain Bergen, she addressed this either a couple of meetings ago, and you and all your neighbors were here, and we can't just close roads. There's this process, and we have to adhere by state standards. Right? Did she
Yes.
not address that?
She did.
And there's, we just can't willy-nilly do, I'm right, we're trying to help you. The best advice is to go to the freeholder board or the commissioner's board.
Right.
But we just can't willy-nilly do things. We have state standards to adhere to, and then we have our own police with,
Yeah,
I get it. I get it, but God bless you, you're, close this road, close that road. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. And I'm not being,
I know you're not trying to put me on, but.
no, I'm not.
I've got it up to here with the state kid.
I understand.
The federal government says they,
I understand. I'm a
the county
libertarian.
intentionally put those bridges in by our houses to put this traffic on there. They knew a long time ago that this was BS. And when I talked to the county engineer, oh, well, you don't understand. They couldn't do one half of the bridge at a time. Why not? Well, there's a right of way, and we don't have the right of way. I said, who's controlling that? Oh, the state. Really? The state couldn't friggin' let us have a right of way for them to build the road? Please. I'm up to here with the garbage. I've been, not you guys.
Well, it's a lot, you're dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, and that's the hardest part. Especially since your road was a quiet road the whole time they were doing that bridge. So literally, the day your road opened up, they closed the other one.
Right.
So you never went back to your normal structure on your road. So,
For 30 years.
yeah,
Yeah, like where was the memo?
yeah.
Right, the county did
But
beans about,
I
helping
would
us out.
bring, I know,
No,
I would.
before, previous, I mean.
Yeah, but I know you do need to tell the freeholder or the commissioner board this, because the pressure on because the bridge is gone. That bridge is gone, it's not there. So they need to put a new bridge in there to get that road open again.
Yeah, they gotta move it.
They need to hear the frustration of the people in the neighborhood. We've talked to them. I think everyone up here has talked to them. But they need to hear from you. They need to hear, all of you, like you did the first meeting when you came in with the big
Right.
group, do that again. Do that again, and make sure the signage is good. And our police department, I know, is working very hard on this.
Oh, I know.
And they're trying to do whatever they can, but we don't have enough officers to put somebody there. We just
I know you're
don't.
short-staffed basically with police.
And, everybody's roads are crazy, but I know the signs that they put up when people move them to the side, if someone goes by, move them back out.
We have an issue. We moved it back out. I moved it out once, the other fellow up there moved it out 3 times, 4 times in one day, right back.
In one
And
day.
in one day. And then I talked to the person who lived on the corner. I never knew her before. Hi, hey, them, blah, blah. She preferred the sign be on the side because her lawn and her driveway by the garage is getting chopped up with the trucks coming through. It's a catch-22. Same thing on the other end.
Yeah, it is.
The one guy on the other end's got the same thing. So, okay, the signs help a little teeny bit, but basically.
Well, we have to keep the summer traffic off your road as much as we can. You're gonna
That's
have.
what I'm afraid of, right?
Right, so that's what I think, I know, Tom, if we could talk to the chief tomorrow and to Sergeant Stern, and then at the same time, we will talk with the commissioners and with Jerry Del Rosso over there, but they need to hear the frustration
Yeah,
from
no,
you.
I understand that.
And they need to know that a 390-day contract to put that bridge in is absorbent. Can
Right.
be done faster.
Right.
They need to know that, and that's, maybe the contractor wanted that kind of time. The other thing is, even the church at Green Tree has a sign there saying the church is open. Because at Schoolhouse in Zion, they have a sign that moves on its own too. It's not wind, people take it in and out all the time.
Right.
I go by there probably 12 times a day, it's moving.
Right.
So the county has to understand that what they did has impact, it snowballs, it spirals out, okay? Just like when they did your bridges. Now, things were pretty quiet with the bridges, but that was preparatory for what they did on Mays Landing Road.
Right.
They can't tell you it wasn't. They
Right.
did Mays Landing Road first and then did Bevis Mills.
Right.
But they did it in preparation for the traffic through
Yep.
your neighborhood, and they knew what they did.
And the
Yeah.
very next day.
Oh, I know.
You don't even get a week with it back.
Believe me, I know.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing is
All I ask is about the delineators.
What now?
The delineators.
Can you come down? We need your name and address for the record.
They're
Ray, are you
They're
done?
gonna put the delineators over by where we are
Now what?
because of the curve in the road supposedly.
Charles Fowler, 124 Bevis Mill Road. So what if we have access
as the neighborhood, to our own delineators. Are we gonna be arrested if we put them in the street? I'm gonna turn that down to the administrator and the attorney.
I wouldn't say you're gonna be arrested, but I wouldn't advise doing it. Because if somebody runs into them and gets into an accident, they're gonna come right knocking on your door and say, why'd you put these there?
Yeah.
You're liable for what you do, so let us put them out. That way if something happens, then it's on us.
When the signs say no through traffic, and these people come through, in essence, they're illegal. If they're breaking the law.
There's no legal,
Definition to
well, if they're not breaking a law specifically, they're breaking a sign. No law to back up the sign, you know what I mean? There's,
Yeah.
Right.
it's an advice.
Yeah, and Captain Bergen did say that. It's like a sign can deter,
Yeah, that's it.
but
It
there's
can't
no
stop.
legal, it doesn't have a legal
Okay,
standing.
oh, and speaking of signs, the speed limit sign that you got up there saying how, take it out, it's doing nothing. It's just, use it someplace else where it would do some good.
Yeah.
Now, you never know. It might be
It's
doing
not
good for
far
one or
away.
two that go by. Maybe not for the majority, but for a
Not the
couple.
majority, I really question it. I think it's just kind of a waste, I really do, but when they come through the bumpity bumps of that one section, right? Coming from Robert Best down, boom, 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 okay. And then when they look, I swear to God, I sit in my kitchen window and I watch them. They hit the top of the thing and you can see the black top and the bridges, like, whoa, they come zooming down.
Come right up the hill.
She gets them the other way.
45, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, and they actually went and got out their own speed thing to check the speed. I mean, it's not like it's.
The average speed is 38 miles an hour.
Did you see the meme where the fellow was sitting out there with his blow dryer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of you.
Well, I was gonna take my heat gun and do it.
I thought it.
They-
Listen,
We'll go to the meeting.
go to the
No,
commission.
definitely, what happened was, I talked to one person, a friend of mine, Vern Cruz, I don't know if you know him, he went. And he told me about, oh, hey, I got something going, so that's how I got to meet him and couldn't get to you in time and couldn't get to Sergeant Stearns in time. Well, he was away anyway. But it was definitely.
But if you see anything major and wrong, call the police.
Trouble
Okay?
with that is, when you see the speeding, like you said, our police force is limited.
And they'll get to it when
They
they
can't get there fast
They
enough.
can't, no, they'll never catch them there, but if you get a
They'll never
license plate of someone who's a repeat offender, which I'm sure you see them, get a
It's
license
okay.
plate and the
We
police
do-
can make a call, but you need to call the police with these things.
Okay.
And you're not, listen, it's what their job is. And if it's, they've got their order of the, things of importance.
Right.
So if they're busy, they're not gonna get to it. We've got 3 people on this dais that were police officers, I'll tell you that. They can't get to everything.
Pictures, Ray.
You're not gonna help us right now.
No,
Take the videos to the commissioner meeting and show them. And actually, you brought some good pictures before, so bring those pictures.
Now, one question I had was, is it economics for us here, like, if we put in temporary speed bumps if they're legal? If we put in temporary speed bumps, is it economics? Can't we go to the DOT to get money from them? I mean, what do we do? When I talked to the county this afternoon, it took them all day to answer me to get back to me. And then she had herself and the chief engineer on the line. It's like, let's see who can shuffle Ray around the fastest. Let's get around the points. When I bring up in here, I got an article where Chief Spanio said, I spoke to the county this morning, March 6th. They approved 4x8 message board. Where? Where is it?
It's not there.
It's not there.
Well, you know what I would do? I would call Chief Spano tomorrow and ask him.
He doesn't like me as it is. I'm crazy what I got going here.
But you know what? He'll get the message.
Okay.
He'll get the message.
All right.
But-
Because that's crazy. He gets something going.
Listen,
They do nothing.
they do, because everybody in here has tried calling on different issues over the years. And you follow it up, and then you follow it up, and then unless you remind somebody again, that you might forget, there's so many things going on. So, go to the
In other words, I'm
county.
not being a pain in the butt.
You're
I'm
not
just-
being no.
I'm
And
just-
I understand, we all understand that
Okay.
you are not happy.
All right, because
It's
never
a
thought it would
beautiful
be-
street, it's a piece of paradise here in the township, and it's not right now. We
Yeah, I
understand
never
that.
believed that it would be this difficult to get a couple things taken care of.
Oh, they say the wheels of government move slow.
But when you closed down the road for that stuff the other day,
Well,
it really made a big difference.
pre-planning should have been
Yeah.
much better for this, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and definitely, if we get the county to move them over,
Yep.
Okay, thank
Go
you.
to the freeholder, the commissioners' meetings. Go to them.
No, we'll be going.
Is there anyone else? Right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Algernon Aspenberg on 144 Bevisville Road. I guess I'm at the lucky spot of the road because I can honestly say 90% of the cars that go by me really do try to do what they can to go slow and watch for the kids. I take my grandkids to the bus stop every morning, and that is wicked time. I mean, there's a zillion cars, but like I said, the majority of them really do a good job. Same thing at night, when I get them off the bus, it's quitting time, everybody's, So honestly, I think to all our neighbors that live around us that know Bevis Mill Road are doing a great job. Police are doing a great job. Maybe we need to move the speed board down the other way again a little bit. I watch the cars go down, they're still putting the brakes on for the police car.
Yeah, they do.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
So things do help.
they do.
I'm not looking forward to the summer traffic. I don't know what to expect, but I get to the point where I have to teach the grandkids and the kids to,
And that's a sad
guess
part.
what? You have to stay off the road.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not biking, we're not running up and down the road. I pick my grandkids up down the street so they don't have to walk down the street to the bus stop. So I'm trying to teach them so we can make it through this year of craziness, but thank you guys for everything.
Thank you.
Thank the police again for us.
We will,
They
absolutely.
do a great job, so
Guy, tell them about the, when they try to pass you guys down with the tractor.
I know, it's crazy.
But
It's crazy.
But thank you guys for everything. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for listening to us.
And Tom,
Yes.
can you check with Chief Spano tomorrow?
Yes,
Just to
ma'am.
see any updates he might have on this?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we'll go.
He would have been here, but he had a prior obligation that
He
we know
did. He had to
about,
get
so
out.
he had to get out.
Thank you,
Mike?
Public Works, for fixing that street on Robert Best, just where they.
Yes, I ran into them today.
I stopped and thanked them today because that was well needed.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike Fontrono, 405 Starfish. Oh, just to be clear, 6.5 miles, 18 miles, doesn't matter. I go 100 miles out, 40 miles in, I see the ocean, the casino. So you can see them from whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. So I'm here tonight not as me. I'm here tonight as the president of our soccer club, the largest youth organization in this town. Why I'm here is asking for the commission's help with, right now, currently, we have the fields that are complete disrepair, they're unsafe, but that's not a conversation for now. The reason I'm here tonight is in order for us to even take the first step to fixing these fields, we were promised over 2 years ago 4 fields at the high school that the township went in and installed lights, which would enable us to go over there, use those fields, so we can work with township and with our rec department to start getting our fields repaired. So it's now been 2 years. I know when the lights were approved, there was a 5-year agreement that the school district itself would cover the electricity bills while the township and taxpayers funded the lights. And here we are 2 years, and they have not been touched at all. So I'm tired of hearing the excuses from the school. I'm asking, can the township send the engineer from the township to go out and verify what the school is doing?
No.
Because
The problem with that is a contract that the school has with whoever they did business with. So every issue with those fields has to go through the school. We are an end user,
Correct. Okay.
but it is a school's project.
Right, but at the same time, they're saying they don't want to sign off on the fields, but we have.
Well, I think if they sign off on the fields, from what I understand,
then they
they'll be
own.
destroyed. They're, you know,
But-
because they're not,
But I do have, we do have video and we do have pictures of the high school girls using those fields.
The other night?
Not the other night, they've used them for the past year and a half.
Under the
So-
lights?
Under the lights go on, but my whole thought is that there's a 5-year agreement where they pay the electric bill. Once those 5 years are up, that electric bill now kicks back over to the taxpayers. We're now 2 years into this.
The contract doesn't commence on the 5 years until we are given access.
so we haven't been given access
Right,
yet.
I didn't read that within that. So I'm asking for any help that we can possibly get.
Well, I will talk to the superintendent, and see where the school stands on it, and see where they are. I know they're frustrated. I know they are. They've had a lot of problems with this developer or this builder, but we're frustrated too, because we know the soccer program needs to expand. They need to get out there and practice. And the way this was going to be a cure-all for a lot of kids in this township, and also a feeder program to the school system. You know, with we have some incredible soccer players on our.
And offline, I wanted to talk to a couple of you guys about what I did with our soccer program, which is going to make it larger, and it's going to keep our kids in beyond 8th grade. Because right now, we don't have any teams that go beyond 8th grade.
No, we don't. Everything is at 8th grade. But we'll talk about that separate. I have your number. I will talk to Dr. Bruccio and President Salagi and get some answers. See what I can find out for you. How's that?
Mike, that's why we did the lights in the first place.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, and just.
They're nice
so you know,
lights.
We're frustrated.
I know, it's beautiful. Like, just so you know, I was at the Board of Education meeting last night. I have a team that plays at a very high level that got scheduled for night games. We cannot use the canal. We have lights, but it is too unsafe to use for those games. So we requested, and I contacted all the right people. We requested to use the turf. I was given a bill for 2 games for $1,258
For this high school?
for the high school turf that the taxpayers funded. Taxpayers paid to play in the league. Now I gotta go to the taxpayers again and say, hey, if you wanna play on a safe field condition, I gotta collect more money from you. And I got completely shut down at the Board of Education meeting last night.
I will be talking to you. How's that? I'll get a hold of Dr. Bruccio, and we'll see where that stands.
Right. And she's the one that's drew the line in the sand, because she has the ability to waive the fee, and she refuses.
How much is the fee again?
$1,258.50. And to make you angrier, if anybody's familiar with soccer, there's a group called the South Jersey Elite Barons. They charge $3,000 a player. We charge $300, by the way. They're renting Oakcrest and Absegami fields from February to the end of June for $420.
Flat period or
Flat
per week, per month?
$420.
For the whole
I
time.
email that to everyone. I also have all the local schools that have turf. The most expensive rental fee is $50 for 4 hours. We're being charged $150 an hour.
This is what I can find out for you. Okay? Yeah, I'll be in touch. Is there anybody else that would like to address the governing
No,
body?
not you.
Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Thank you very much.
All right, okay. I'll make a motion for close.
Can I have a second, please?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a resolution and consent calendar, number 170 through and including 182.
I'll make a motion.
Roll call, please?
Caparo.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Romer.
Yes. Resolution bill list. Resolution authorizing payment of all bills. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Roll call?
Vaquero,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Hodson,
Yes.
Pauls,
Yes.
Cromer.
Yes. Township Committee reports. Mr. Pauls.
Nothing.
Mr. Ellis.
Just glad to see EMTs and police and all that here tonight. That was very nice of the committee, town, and all to recognize.
Yeah. Mr. Hodson.
Nothing much, but I did want to echo what Ray said. We've been there for these kind of calls. It was a great result, and it just shows you the levels of response for an incident like that from the caller, not hanging up right away, continuing to talk and direct them, and our police department getting there and starting CPR, or using the AED, or what they're calling, what are they calling that now, Lucas?
The Lucas is the automatic.
That's the automatic
Yes,
AED?
yes.
Okay.
Well, it's not an AED, but it does the compression.
Right, yeah. It's a great thing. I've been there where they haven't worked out like that. I've been there where they worked out, but this stuff today is great equipment. It's just the timing of getting in there and doing it, and I commend everybody who was involved in that save of that man.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Capero.
Thank you, Mayor. It was really nice reading this with the proclamations and everything, and it was a great, very happy ending to it. It was touching. I'll tell you, the folks all put the bed. Excuse me a minute, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
The folks all put their best foot forward, and it worked out. That's all I wanted to say.
It was good.
Thank you to all of them. Thank you, Mayor.
I've got just one reminder that this weekend is our shredded event, Public Works Yard on Mill Road, 9 to 12 on Saturday. Township residents only, and residents, no businesses. And that's all I have. Mr. Administrator, anything?
Nothing, ma'am?
Mr. Friedman,
No, Mayor.
do we have a need for a closed session?
Yes. Brief one.
You want to read it?
You guys do your
Oh,
approvals.
yep, sorry, we've got approvals. Can I have a motion to approve the Township Committee meeting minutes for March 6, 2024?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to approve the March 6 closed session minutes from March 6, 2024.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the departmental reports for the month of February 2024.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, closed sessions.
Resolution 184, authorizing the Township Committee to convene into a closed executive session to discuss matters which may involve personnel and/or legal matters. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss matters involving personnel and/or legal matters as follows. Legal matters. An update on the EMS potential litigation matter, anticipated disclosure 1 year. An update on the Ridge Avenue and Delaware Avenue notice of violations, anticipated disclosure 1 year. And a potential litigation matter with an anticipated disclosure of 1 year. Whereas the minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes may be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Egg Harbor, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey, that the public be excluded from this meeting.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to go into closed session?
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Vaquero.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes.
Hodson.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
And Cromer.
Yes.